Hello everyone, I'm Tommy with Studio Sense. You know, being attractive is important to everyone, but especially that guy who seems to spend night after night trying to swipe right and ends up only swiping left. It's really hard to find your soulmate or have a meeting of the minds with someone. You would think in this electronic age it would be a simple thing to do, but somehow it has made certain social aspects, instead of bringing us closer together, slightly distancing. However, I have discovered in my years of experience with men's fragrance, there are certain fragrances that you can use to help aid in your relationship advancement. So when we return, I'm going to show you 6 sexy bangers that every single man should have in his arsenal, and every married man should be careful with. That and more, so stay tuned. Welcome back, guys. It seems that just like the proverbial genie in the bottle, there's a misconception out there that there's a specific fragrance that will give your every relationship desire and need wish fulfillment. That's just not the case. There are, however, fragrances out there that can not only aid in matchmaking, like bringing you closer to someone, just like the best fragrance wingman, but they can also up your attraction factor, boost your confidence, boost your attractability to women. There are fragrances that do exist that if you have good hygiene, if you have good etiquette, aka manners, if you have eye contact when you're talking with someone, if you smile, those fragrances can actually up your attractive factor. They can boost your confidence and make you seem very viable and attractive to the woman who's speaking to you or who has met you. The following fragrances have been curated by yours truly. I've had good experiences with every single one of them. They have garnered the positive attention of the female nose and imagination. They can be the introduction to a brand new relationship, or at the very least, a good conversation starter. As guys, we often defer to the greater intelligence and intuition of women. In fact, some of my favorite fragrances have been produced by the female nose, like Anique Minardo, and specifically in 2017 a fragrance was released from the nose of Daniela Andrier, and she created something called Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. That's number 6. Excellent date night fragrance. Wonderful masculine scent. You can definitely see the chemist coming out in Daniela with the release of this fragrance, specifically in its name, carbon. For example, carbon dioxide is emitted when fossil fuels are burned, like our gases in vehicles. We breathe in oxygen, we breathe out carbon dioxide. Some of the notes in this mimic where carbon can be found. Carbon can be found in the soil, it can be found in rocks and minerals, but by and large, the most carbon that can be found on the face of the planet is found in the ocean. When you actually look at the notes that are featured, you've got soil tincture, you've got watery notes, you've got metallic notes, you've got coal, just like actual carbon. It gives this kind of the dirty feel. But what gives those notes that liftoff and zest is the Italian bergamot, there's black pepper, there's lavender, patchouli, and ambroxan. See, those modernized notes take these earthy elements like water, metal, like rock dust, coal dust, soil, like dirt, all those common elements found in carbon, it takes those and it modernizes them and makes them this wonderful masculine masterpiece, in my estimation, of a man's fragrance. And when the female nose catches this, she knows she's caught something super high quality. This adds to the girth of your personality, as it were. Prada Luna Rossa Carbon is a very masculine and sexy fragrance. It can be found at most online discounters for right around $60. Attraction between a man and a woman is a very personal, peculiar thing. If you don't believe me, just go to any grocery store or shopping mall and people watch for a while. The difference is just things that we don't know, things that we're not aware of. We see basically what's on the surface. And that peculiar portion of the relationship that we don't see, I think, can be found in this particular fragrance. My number 5 pick is from Yves Saint Laurent, and it is La Nuit de l'Homme. This is a fantastic staple of a date night fragrance. The reason women love this fragrance, first of all, when you smell it, it does come off slightly unisex. It feels very floral at first. It's just like the introduction of a relationship is a little bit tentative. Even if you meet a girl that you're attracted to, there might be something slightly mysterious. It pulls you in, it draws you in. It's very much like La Nuit de l'Homme. When you first smell this, it's slightly feminine, slightly floral. There's a deep bass masculinity and a sexy allure to this fragrance that comes from the mid to the dry down, and that's what draws you in. And subsequently, that's what draws the nose of the female smelling this on you in to your orbit and into your radius to know more about you and to know more about what she's smelling. This fragrance was launched in 2009 from the trio efforts of Anne Filippo, Pierre Warnay, and Dominique Ropion. This fragrance is often been called the meat for dinner but stay for breakfast fragrance for good reason, because of its appeal to women. Now you may come across fragrance purists that are like, oh, but it's been reformulated. It used to be fantastic. Now it's just watered down crap. Don't listen to the naysayers. Don't listen to other people's opinions about a fragrance. Feel how you feel about it. Let that guide you. Today's formulation of this fragrance is still very solid, very good, and there are many female noses out there, in fact the greater majority of them, that will agree with me on that. And that's why Yves Saint Laurent's La Nuit de l'Homme makes my number 5 pick. You can get a 100ml bottle now for around 50 bucks. This next sweet and spicy fragrance I don't wear too often. It's kind of like rolling out in a race car to go get milk. Yeah, it's awesome, but it's just not necessary. And that is Azzaro's Wanted by Night. Wanted by Night is the richer, more intense, and deeper flanker of Wanted by Azzaro. Wanted by Night is even younger than Prada Luna Rossa Carbon. Some people call Wanted by Night a clubbing fragrance, and I'm okay with that. The rich tapestry of Wanted by Night includes notes of cinnamon, mandarin, red cedar, frankincense, cumin, tobacco absolute, cypress, and cedarwood. Azzaro Wanted by Night is available at all online discounters for roughly 50 bucks for a 100ml bottle. Now, the sillage, projection, and longevity on all these fragrances that I'm talking about today are fantastic. They are tried and true. They are proven. There's not even a question. But I'll go ahead and re-emphasize. Wanted by Night is amazing. Just dial back on these sprays. If you are going to meet someone for the first time, please don't wear super heavy sprays. Just keep that in mind. It's a good rule of thumb. You can always spray more, but you can't take it back and put it in the bottle. It's already on your skin. Another fragrance that works so well it just gives me a headache. And by headache, I don't mean it makes my head hurt. I just mean that kind of ache that feels good because it's anticipatory. You just know great things are gonna happen when you spray this on. It's literally like spraying on borrowed confidence. Like if there was ever a store that you could go to rent a bravado suit that comes with various attraction attachments, like confidence booster, handsome enhancer, sophistication selections, and add-ons. You could spend a nominal amount of money and walk out completely someone else. That guy or person or magnate that you've always admired but never been would be you. Givenchy Gentleman is all that in a bottle. And if you've never tried this fragrance, you're missing out on what I'm saying. If you own this fragrance, you're probably sitting there shaking your head, absolutely yes, thumbs up, this bad boy is fire. And it truly is. You would not be incorrect. As soon as you spray this on, you feel like you've leveled up, full on HP, MP, and EV, and you're automatically ready for just anything. Also fairly new to the scene, launching in 2018 from the noses of Olivier Cresp and Natalie Lorson. Givenchy Gentleman has been gracing the necks, arms, pulse points, and bodies of lucky men and lucky women subsequently out there everywhere. Anyone that smells this by proxy will consider themselves a very lucky person. This is absolutely one of the best in terms of projection and longevity that's out there on the market today, and possibly one of the best that I've ever experienced myself. It is amazing. Good 10 to 12 hours at least. Gentleman features notes of lavender, bergamot, black pepper, iris, cinnamon, cloves, black vanilla, benzoin, and tonka. And you could find a 100ml bottle just like this online for around 60 bucks. And that's why Givenchy Gentleman makes my number 3 spot. This next fragrance has built a reputation for being a sleek and sexy date night signature scent. I even know women that wear this on themselves even though it is a man's fragrance. They like it that much. And that is Dolce & Gabbana's The One Eau de Parfum. Now, when Dolce & Gabbana The One Eau de Toilette was released, it was met with fairly high praise for being an amazing scent, but with one complaint. It didn't last very long. So even though it took 7 years for the Eau de Parfum to come out, this is by all means a deeper, richer, more intense experience, but the fragrance is exactly the same, and that is a godsend, because the fragrance is what made this amazing, what set it apart. And even now, in a market that is continuing to grow, this still stands as the one that is still extremely unique. Prior to becoming Chanel exclusive, this is from the nose of Olivier Polge. This creamy, sweet masterpiece is one that every man should have in his date kit. The one features notes of coriander, grapefruit, basil, orange blossom, ginger, cardamom, tobacco, amber, and cedar. The one eau de parfum opens spicy sweet, but it dries into a creamy, tobacco-y amber with a hint of orange blossom, cradled in a semi-sweet to sweet cardamom. During summer heat, there's like a rum presence about it, but you take it into cooler weather and then the grapefruit becomes more prominent, becomes a little bit fruity. So there's something about the one to appreciate in any season. There's something absolutely mesmerizing, alluring, and intimately sexy about the one, and that's why every man should own it. You can get a 100 ml bottle, or as what I've got, a 50 ml bottle for less than 50 bucks. Coming in at number 1 is a fragrance that's also fairly new to the scene. It came out in 2018 from the nose of Olivier Peuchot, and it's absolute fire. And yes, that's pun intended, because it is Versace Eros Flame. Now, a lot of people think that Versace Eros Flame is riding on the coattails of a fragrance that's been around since for almost the last decade. One of the best clubbing fragrances around, Versace Eros. Of course it is. I mean, why wouldn't it be? Like if you had, let's say for example, you're one of the Baldwin brothers and you're Alec Baldwin's next in line, as it were. Wouldn't you be like, if you were going into a casting situation, wouldn't you be like, oh, by the way, my brother's Alec, and he was just in a movie, and I want to be in this one? Of course you would. You would use that cred. Well, that's exactly what Flame did at first when it was first released, is like, hey, I'm a flanker of Eros, check me out. But it definitely stands on its own. Once you spray this on your skin, you come to realize that yes, that Eros DNA is still there. It's an extremely different, if you look at the notes in Versace Eros Flame, you wonder how it smells like Eros. It's pretty amazing, actually, and that's chemistry for you. But you can tell that DNA is still there, but it stands on its own as wholly unique. Quite honestly, I prefer it over Eros. I've come to prefer it over Eros. It lasts longer. The projection is amazing, the longevity is amazing, and clothes, if you spray this on clothes, like in an underwear drawer or a t-shirt drawer, you'd be amazed how long it lasts, and your clothes smell amazing when you get them out to put them on, especially if you're going on a date. Featuring sexy and alluring notes like lemon, mandarin, quinoto, Madagascan black pepper, rosemary, pepperwood, geranium, rose, Texas cedar, Haitian vetiver, patchouli, oak moss, sandalwood, tonka bean, and vanilla. That's a lot of notes making up this wonderful masterpiece. Eros Flame has been called the fruity seducer for good reason. Where Eros is trepidatious, Eros Flame is bold. This is more fruity, where Eros is more minty. This is sweet, where Eros is drier. This is overall a more pleasing and elegant composition from Versace that's designed to captivate her attentions from beginning to end. Versace Eros Flame can be found at online discounters for right around 50 bucks for a 100 ml bottle. You can get a tester for even less than that. But because of its intrepid, sexy, it's sweet, spicy, sexy, and allure, and because it's so consistently good and high quality, just like most Versace products, that's why it makes my number 1 in 6 sleek, sexy bangers. Well guys, that's it for my 6 sexy bangers. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope that if you do own these, that you put them to good use, but if you don't, make sure to go out there and get them. If you're still unsure after watching this video, make sure to try a sample. And if you do have good experiences with them, make sure to share those with us in the comments below. Thank you so much for stopping by and watching. As always, thank you so much for your support on my channel. I'm Tommy with Studio Sense, and I'll see you next time.